Good morning. I'd like to take a little time to talk about the end time timeline, if you will. This is absolutely a video in response to Bear Independence video this morning. It's coffee sermon, and I want to make something clear up front. This is in no way an attack on Bear or an assault on Bear or anything like that. It's not. I am at a loss as to why people on YouTube can't have discussions. There are the majority of larger channels on YouTube that you just can't have discussions with because, well, I'll let you figure it out on your own. Try having a discussion with one of those channels, and you'll see real quick just how big the ego is. And I want to take a step back from that a little bit and remind folks that mankind, us, all of us, collectively, over 8.5 billion people, I believe, we're not smart enough to be able to explore the very depths, the very, very bottoms of the ocean. Okay? We can't go there. We don't know how to go there. So, in all of these years, with all of this technology, we can't even explore everywhere on the planet because we're not smart enough to get there. So, I always remember things like that whenever I might feel like I'm overly intelligent. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice grounding plane. We're not even smart enough to explore the depths of the ocean, so we might want to sit back down. That's all of us, myself included. When it comes to the end time prophecy as written in the Bible, I'm not talking about anybody else's spinoff. There are some very key things. Number one, no man knows the day or the hour. So anybody out there that's trying to give you very narrow timelines, no. And it happens all the time. No. They are false prophets. The key thing that you want to look for, that's important with the Bible, is that the reason that atheists can give Christians so much hell, and I'm not in either camp, I want to make that clear. The reasons why they can give each other so much hell is because of the amount of contradictory things that's written word. Because there's a lot of it. But what you have to understand about those contradictory things is that there is a season for everything. Okay? You have to remember that. The Bible gave us one clue that would tell us that it was the time. And you can sit there and you can knit and pick and everything else to try to loophole your way out of the word. Which I'm sorry, but Brother Bear, that is what you were doing. You were trying to loophole your way out of the word, and it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. There is one specific thing that the Bible tells us to watch out for, to know when it's nearly time for that thief to come in the night. And that is that you watch the sun, the moon, and the stars. Sun, the moon, and the stars. So you take all those other things, those other calamities that mankind has seen several times over, and I am sure many people thought that was the time. There was one element that was missing. One element. and that was the signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. We have that element now that is called pole shift. The scientific community does not argue whether or not pole shifts happen. You need to be very clear of that. There is no debate, there is no argument whatsoever about the validity of pole shifts. None. Because there can't be. There's too much evidence. So the scientists don't battle that out with one another. What they battle out with one another is the timeline. The same thing, Brother Bear, that you're battling out about end times. The timeline. Step back. Step back. You got your head too deep into the Word. Step back and look at the big picture of the Word. I don't know how else to say it, and I'm trying to say this out of love. I am saying it out of love, not trying. I am. But you've got to step back a little bit. You have to understand that the season is here. Undoubtedly. I want to add one more thing, because I mentioned Bear in a previous video talking about, well, pretty much the same kind of thing, right? We're talking end times, pole shift. I, in no way, can say that you've made a mistake by being in Oklahoma. And let me explain why. I am not out there on the ranch with Ben Davidson. I am in Illinois. I am where God told me He wanted me to be. I know you say that God isn't telling you not to be to Oklahoma. You don't understand why God would tell you to go to Oklahoma. I'm telling you God is in control. And you need to surrender yourself 100% to Him. Maybe you have. Ben doesn't have even a remotely good outlook for my region. Not even in the slightest. Not even in the slightest. And as a man that understands the science, that came across the realization that pole shift was going on at about the same time Ben Davidson did, independently. I had no idea about Ben Davidson until I had already figured out we were in the midst of a pole shift. That's when I found Ben Davidson. I'm telling you, he's accurate. He's accurate. But I'm also telling you that God is bigger than everything. And if God wants you to be in Oklahoma, that's His will. And if His will is for you to be wiped out in a flood, that's His will. If His will is somehow to put a dome of protection over you, that is His will. The Bible even talks about all of the people that are building bunkers and whatnot right now. The Bible, when in our history, modern history, when have people been on such a mad dash to build these massive bunker complexes? I'm not talking about the Cold War people putting a small bomb shelter in their backyard. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these huge shelters. And not all government. Some of them are privately invested. I mean, The Bible talks about how many of those people that are evil, that go down into those places, that they're not safe. The Bible warns them. Does it not? So, it's not necessarily about where you live or where you're at. I would say it's more about your will to serve the Father and His will to protect you. Because make no mistake, when this happens, the only people that are going to survive are those that's in God's will to survive. The words hell on earth doesn't even scratch the surface. The hell on earth will come before the geographical shift. That'll already be here. If you're not underground, when the solar part of it starts to really kick in and we lose pretty much every bit of the magnetosphere, and you instantly come down with cancers if you're in the sun at all, going to be in a bad way. How many auroras have we seen in the lower 48 in the last year? Now go look 50 years prior to just the last year. How many auroras in the lower 48? Oh, what? We got more on the way? Really? Huh. Sun, moon, stars. Means I might want to look up. And I might want to look to see if there's any changes. Right? There are a lot of changes. And they're going to continue to get worse. We got a lot of time left. I mean, when I say a lot of time, I don't mean a lot of time. But there's time left. And there is going to be an increase in the auroras, an increase in these massive, crazy storms of all kinds, whether they be tornadoes, hurricanes, snowstorms, whatever. You're going to see all of them get worse. It's science, not just prophecy. The Bible and science are starting to align. Not because the Bible's changing, but because science is getting better. Remember I said that mankind can't even reach the bottom of the oceans? We're not that bright. We're not that bright. We need to take a step back. We need to realize that on a worldly sense, on a global sense, we're all students. Ain't a damn one of us a teacher. We're all students. Sometimes we look a little too deep. Sometimes we have something within ourselves that won't allow us to accept truth because it's more than we can comprehend. I've been there with this pole shift stuff. Believe me. Believe me. I've been there. I've learned how to detach in love. And it's the only reason I can sit here today and calmly talk to you about something that I am so damn certain is going to happen. And that's not a false prophet prediction, because I can't tell you exactly when. I can tell you about the same, roughly the same timeline has been. Late 2030s to, well, I'll say mid to late 2030s to anywhere in the 2040s. So I think Ben would concur on that precisely. So he used to actually think more 2030s and now, or 2040s, and I think now he's starting to look a little more at late 2030s. Ben and I could both be absolutely wrong, and it could be sooner. Shit, pardon me, but it could be next week. We can't tell you. Don't let anybody tell you that they can. We can't tell you. The only thing Ben and I can do is look at the situation, look at the progression, and take a guess. Ben, being way more accurate than myself, because he's literally doing every single bit of the legwork, math, the whole 9 yards. I just have a gift with theory and physics, and I can see it. I can visualize it. I can visualize it as one of those little tops as we had as a kid. As it slows down and starts to get more wobble, like the Earth's got more wobble, the most wobble ever in recorded history at this particular time right now. The magnetosphere is the weakest it has ever been in history at this particular time right now. The North Pole has migrated south further than ever in recorded history at this time right now. How many more signs do we need? Because I don't need any more than that. Trim your wicks. Keep those eyes open. Please don't bank on me saying late 2030s, 2040s, or Ben saying it either. Trim your wicks now. Because we can't tell you when it happens. What I can tell you is it does happen, and it's about to happen. The most important thing we can do besides our physical preparedness is being right with the Father. Because I'm telling you, make no mistake, if you survive this, it will be God's will. Nothing else. Sober thought, huh? Shalom.